Ladies and gentlemen, we're live now. At this point, it looks like it might be an odd delay. Futures are about to gap down big. They haven't opened up yet. We still have 3 minutes. We're going to talk about that. Let's just adjust the expected moves here. Actually, the expected moves for this week really aren't that big. You know, it's not the biggest move for the S&P right there at all, actually. So if we were to look at it right now, SPY, let's 594. Oh, 11. Never mind. $11. It is a pretty decent move for the S&P. We're about to watch it. As soon as the futures open up at 5, we'll watch this gap down, probably into that blue zone. It's going to be real awkward. Hopefully we make it to that yellow zone. If we could just gap all the way down to that yellow zone, I am buying. Right now, I think there's going to be a lot of fears about the us getting involved in Iran. But did we get involved in Iran? Have you seen it? What have we done? Right, so we bombed 3 nuclear facilities. You got Meet Kevin trying to pretend he's a nuclear scientist and break all of that down. None of that actually matters. We knew when the B-2 bombers. I live not far from where the B-2 bombers are actually all where they're at. And I saw all over Facebook when they took off, when they left over U.S. land, where they were at in the ocean, when they made it there. And then we bombed 3 facilities that were well evacuated, both personnel and tech. There was 0 casualties. This looks more like an oil report where they need something to happen to oil. So an oil rig burns down and there's some volatility, and then that's that. And then here's Monsoon. He says, I'm not showing a gap down on oil. Looks like we'll have movement. Looks like we'll have movement, not equities. Well, that's because they're not open yet. I'm just saying that because it's probably what's going to happen. That's my guess. Yeah, if you look at the clock, futures they're going to open here in about 10 seconds. And then we'll watch it open. And if they gap up, then I'm just incredibly wrong. I'm not going to get the dip buy. I do have SPY puts. I did buy SPY puts over the weekend. If you're in my group, if you want to be in the group, part of the community, always check it out. Top pin link. Top pinned comment will be down below. It's always in the description as well. But I didn't want to hold any futures over the weekend. So what I did was I bought SPY puts. Now SPY had begun to sell off at the end of the day, so I sold. So I bought SPY 590 puts for Tuesday's expiration. I wanted to give it a day. And then after SPY sold off, I sold Tuesday's 585 puts. So they're $5 spreads. Lisa says, "Oh, we're live. I didn't get the notification." Well, you have Discord turned off then, because I notified everybody in Discord. Says, I would love to see a giant red candle. Well, should be opening any second. We should at least get the update. Come on. Contracts did roll last week. So we're on the there it is. So we gapped down to the blue zone. Almost like I said that was going to happen. Remember that? Now, if you don't remember me saying that, just rewind it where futures weren't open. I said we're going to gap down to this zone, and it's like magic. Interesting, huh? Who would have known? It's not the man. I really wanted a bigger gap down though, because at this point, I'm buying. I'm buying, and I'm just going to bag hold long. We got a fresh new contract. I have all quarter to just buy an ES contract and then just stay up. To be clear, I am going to buy ES right now, just because this is nonsense. Why aren't we buying right now? Now, if you're not prepared to do what I'm going to do, just don't do it. My risk tolerance is probably a lot more than most folks, especially in the futures world. People like to scalp. It's very common for people to scalp. They've probably already made 100 moves by now, where I'm going to buy, like I said, bag hold long. Come on, I want the real dip buy. Well, this is it. Thinkorswim is showing 35 points down. Math checks out. I'm here on TradingView. I'm looking at the same chart. Anyway, full send. What I'm going to... Man. I was going to say what I'm going to do is... So I just bought an ES contract. It's already up. But I was thinking, man, if we could just get down here, I'll add one more on. So I'll be long a total of 2 ES contracts because I can take on the risk. It is real money. It's not prop firm money. I don't have to close it. I don't have any rules. I just have my money. That's it. Now, what I actually thought about doing was putting like a stop sell right down here, because if we were to get bombed, if something serious were to happen, this thing would absolutely melt down, tank, and continue. So at that point, I would just tag in, go short. I don't think we would get bombed. That would be absolutely nuts. And the volatility we would see would be out of this world. They would likely shut the markets down like they did in 2011. But that's kind of a risky move, because if we were to play that game, they shut the markets down, and then all of a sudden we get back up. All I did was I was right, but took a loss. Where those GameStop people at? You know what I'm talking about. They took the sell button away. What do I do? Oh, they took the buy button away. You could close your position, you just couldn't add on. People got real upset. Imagine if they took your close the position away. You'd be screwed. Monsoon went long. MES, not bad. I'm waiting. I really want the real zone. Tired of playing around with the speed bump zones. Yeah, I told you guys last week. So last Sunday, I said we're not going to break this zone this week. And like breaking close. We tried, got right back in. And I had to say, I'd like to say we're going to repeat that. Now, I can really sell you a position right here, because it's a pretty decent channel down right here. Lower highs, lower lows, whether you go wicks, whether you go candle bodies right here. A pretty decent channel down. So we're at the lowest. Markets have been pretty, I want to say overbought, but we're due for a leg down just in general. Gosh, if bombs were to hit, we'd make it to... Give me that yellow zone right there. I think that's just wishful thinking. It's not even worth talking about right now. All right, so what I'm doing right now with my ES contract, as we push up, I will put my stop in the green. I actually don't like losing, and that's why it's rare that I do, is because I'll buy. And for me to be wrong, it has to just be instantly wrong, and that's it. Because once it pushes up a little bit, I'll put my stop in the green. Right now, we're still dancing around it's been open for 5 minutes. Once it gets up a little bit, I'll put my stop in the green. I won't trail it. I'll just kind of leave it there. What I'm really hoping for is to, sell it somewhere up here. That would be horrible if we couldn't close options on a big move either way. Certainly possible. Yeah, and that's why I made it clear, like in the chat, hey, I'm swinging puts over the weekend because just I want to control my risk and everything. Didn't want to do futures, but every other day it's been a futures, because I want to manage it around the clock. Now, there's ways to do things, especially on a 24-hour market. You can delta hedge, and let's say you bought puts, the market's way down. Your put, in theory, will be up at the open, so you end up buying the dip in a different form, deltas-wise, equaling out, whether it be an ETF, maybe you want to grab some futures. You can look at your portfolio and ultimately tell if your delta's long or short. Just remember, stocks are hard deltas, options, futures, those are soft deltas. Super surprised we're getting this bounced. It's shocking. And that will be a clip earlier, so don't be mad at me, because I literally said this is going to happen. If you're new here, stick around. I get lucky like this pretty often. In fact, for the last 13 years. Some might even think, hey, wow, I wonder what the news is actually doing. Anyway, what's everyone's thoughts on the week right now? I think we'll see some volatility. Let's check out oil. What did oil do? I feel like that's a short. Ooh. Hang on a second. I don't want my eyes to get too big. But if you haven't met me, my name's Don Fron. And I'm short oil now. Okay, so I'm short CL, oil contract, and I'm long ES, the S&P futures contract. Time to short the dollar again. What did the dollar do? Let's break it down. Oh, what an annoying gap up. Is it time to short the dollar again? I need it to be higher than that, to be honest. Yeah, probably a decent spot. Is that a new strategy? I get pretty lucky. It's been my strategy for over a decade. Some people call it luck. One person did say I was cheating because of where I put my stops and everything. I'm just going to keep doing me because it's what pays the bills. So why isn't oil's future showing on TradingView? Well, what I watch is. Ta-da! There it is. So that's why I went short. Sold your longs at 77. Nice job. Yeah, going long, the oil futures may be short. The S&P probably just wasn't a bad play at all. I felt pretty confident in it, but I was more nervous about we attack them. I know Trump did say 14 days. What he meant was 14 minutes. So technically he never lied. He said we were going to give Iran 14 days. Minor typo. Guys, stop talking. Even they don't like his typos. What he meant was 14 minutes. We sent the B-2 bombers over. What I didn't want is negotiation talks and world peace before Monday or before Sunday's open, and then I'm just trashed in a short position. ES making another leg up. Well, I hope so. More money that does, the better. I might have to. Let's check out US CAD. That's my favorite one to short right now. That's a type 1 right now for the week. Bitcoin bouncing. Everything's just bouncing at these blue zones. Doesn't the oil's futures look like a strong trend up? Not questioning your decision, just want clarification. Well, John Lee, I'm glad you asked that because it does. I am a knife catcher. That is just kind of who I am. So you'll see this a lot, and I like to front run the risk. There's people that will wait for the reversal. They feel safer doing that. There's people that will just front run the risk. And right now, if it breaks above this and I tag out, so be it. But by the time it reverses for some people, my stop's already in the green because they just place their risk in different spots. Yes, that's a trend up, and given what we have going on, I think that's why everyone assumed oil to 100. I just think we're going to get involved with some other things. We're going to manipulate oil production, and then it'll drop back down. Last thing anyone wants is high gas prices. This whole war in general is just going to be to go to war in general. You need the public's opinion. You need the public's vote of confidence. What do you need? You need the public to agree with you. If everyone hates you for going to, it's not happening. That's why you need to come up with the excuses of they're building a nuke. We got to do something. We need an end. We can't just say we don't like them. We got to send it. And no one likes to spend $1 billion filling up. So we'll see. But like I said, none of this is financial advice. I'm just talking about what I do. And if you agree with what I do, your numbers probably look pretty similar. Who was it? It was John Lee, right? That's the name? There you go, John Lee. Very much fighting the trend, knife catch. It just gapped into a zone where I think we're going to find some sellers like we did last time. So I'm hoping to take advantage of that. If it were to actually get outside that zone, my stop would be in the green. And if we continue that trend up, so be it. But even in a trend up, and EMAs play a great visual for this, which is why a lot of people probably put too much faith in them. But see how we get a little carried away, and we kind of come back down to earth. Even coming back down to earth in futures contracts, the ones that I'm in, that'll still be thousands of dollars total. So I'm okay with making that a day. I don't try to get crazy with it. He says, crap, I have a long call option on UCO. What's that? That's oil? I thought it was USO. What's UCO? Oh, Ultra Bloomberg. Is this a leverage ETF? Come on. I hit the wrong key. United States Oil Fund. Okay, so you're just pro shares. How do I get... Well, we're in full screen mode the rest of the time. I took the top off. I hit a button. I did the things. I don't know what I did. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I did this the other day on accident. I can't figure out how to get out of this. Took profits on M2K weekend shorts. Reversed, went long now. Kind of feels like everybody's on board this. There's 91 people here. I'll have you guys know, if I get 100 likes while I'm live, I'll be I'll be live tomorrow morning. Not much to talk about on a Monday morning, but those are the rules. Get 100 likes, I'll be here the next day. We can trade live, like we're doing right now. I am going to put my stop in the green real quick, just so I don't lose anything. The worst thing you can do is have a green trade go red. That's annoying. So I'm going to put my stop in the green on oil. I'm short oil. I'm long ES. So we're just going to do a couple of buy stops. What are we at? I'm going to do 70. I got it. Oh, that's annoying. I'm going to do 76, 75, and we'll just we'll call it a day on the oil. Maybe. No, just kidding. I'm going to do 76, 45. Because that's how I roll. I like the 45 number. All right, so if it tags out, so be it. Let's get out of that. Let's go to ES. How much are we up this? Okay. So I'm just about $500 up just on the ES contract. Shout out to anybody that agreed and took a very similar play. Crazy, isn't it? All right. God, we're begging to tag out, but I like to have my stop in the green. So I put my stop at 59.89. Full send. Hopefully it doesn't tag. And tomorrow morning I wake up with no notifications and just a bunch more money in my account. I like those mornings. They're good mornings. And then I tend to sleep till noon. One day. You would have to probably subscribe, pay attention, and watch more than one video. If I could make a super trader in one video, that video would already be out. And we could just talk about cool stuff, like check this printer out I just got. Look at the size of that thing. Anyway, it's got dual nozzles. It's amazing. My other printer's next to it. It's shorter. Anyway, we could just talk about stuff like that. Let's move on to the NASDAQ, bouncing out of that zone as well. You know what I would watch out for is we're going to get to this zone and surprise. You know, some more news comes out. And then we do continue the kind of the channel down. Now, we've been in this range for what feels like an absolute eternity. So I'm not really a fan of that. You know, we've got outside, we came right back in, really breaking this range with any kind of conviction or anything, not snapping right back in. We're probably headed decently down. We'll head to this yellow zone. If we break to the upside, it'll be all-time highs. For the NASDAQ, that's actually not much at all. For the S&P, talking about that zone, I'm going to get this out of the way so it's not distracting. Breaking that, we'll head down to this yellow zone. And then, yeah, I'd say breaking up, we probably are headed to all-time highs. NASDAQ will obviously hit it first. They just have the big tech names. They carry a lot of weight. Out of the NASDAQ 100, the top handful carry the weight. And then the same for the S&P, but it's the S&P 500. There's a lot of other things that can slow that down compared to the NASDAQ. They do not hold hands. They're not playing catch-up with one of another. That's not how the markets work. So don't think because the NASDAQ did it, the other one's going to do it the same day or any kind of correlation. It likely will. It likely will, just like ice cream sales going up in the summertime. Please don't ever do that again. Is he trailing his MCL shorts? Who? I'm in CL, not MCL. And yeah, if you're asking me, I'm trailing I got to stop in the green in my short oil and my long ES. Green week or red week on the equities. For those that watch the S&P, that's going to be a tough one. Slightly green. If you're watching futures, I think green. Because we're going to bounce up overnight, and then tomorrow's S&P candle, a lot of people just watch that. You know, that'll open up here, and then we'll be slightly up. When really, we gapped down and covered some ground. So I do think, I'm thinking green week. Don trades the big boy contracts. Yeah. And yeah, I have a stop in on both. I just did that. 76.45 is my stop. and then 89 on the ES. Hover your mouse at the top of the screen. It gives you your bar back. Oh, there we go. There we go. That a baby. All right. Appreciate that. That's why he's my admin. Simply because of that. And he likes to make videos of me predicting the future. Like I did today. 87 a year. How many of you guys watched the absolute beginning before futures opened up? I do encourage you to check that out. If you're just hovering into the news, you clicked on this because you're panicking. Watch the very beginning clip. Listen to what I say before the futures open, and then watch where they open at. It'll lead you to believe. Well, you'll see a lot why I say the things I do, why I act the way I do, and why. Please don't take offense to this. I don't care about your opinion. It seems like. We're already. This needs to get above that. Yeah, that's going to be a tough zone to get above. There is a difference between yellow and blue. Please understand that. That's hanging on for dear life. I will say I'm going to set an alert right there. That's where I'll go long, Grandpa Dow. So I'll go long that. Now, assuming we kind of grind our way down, if it's a bomb going off overnight and we are in absolute melted mode, there's a reason why I have an alert here and not just a limit buy. That is how you will blow your account in the middle of the night, because we'll find out this wasn't just posturing. It wasn't just some dumb crap. And then they do send it back. I keep hearing Iran's going to invade the United States starting at Florida. Like, first of all, that's hilarious. I wouldn't know what to, like, would we even react to that? Do we even deploy troops if that happens? Can you imagine if somebody tried to invade? Well, what do they do? They can't take an aircraft here because we'll blow that out of the sky. I guess we could, for entertainment purposes, let them sail a boat on over. And then to save money, we let the people in Florida take care of it. I'll have my new mobile live stream. But, you know, aside from the point, if something crazy were to happen, if a bomb did go off, they smuggle in some pagers or drones in a truck coming from Mexico, something wild, right? Just use your imagination. Tech can make it happen. And we'll pull one of these. And this will be your 1 minute candles or your 15-second candles. We will absolutely send it if they were to actually attack us on land. And they'll likely close the markets down. But if you were to have a limit buy there and that were to happen, one, you'll lose your account. They'll shut the market down after margin calls you, like Indiana Jones style. We'll call you, close your account. Here's your invoice, by the way. And then when the markets reopen and they declare world peace, everyone is forgiving, and so on and so forth, or we're officially at war and it's a buy the war news, we'll gap all the way up. You will have lost your account for nothing. No military necessary. Florida man's got things on lockdown. Nate says, I'm way closer. Don, stay at home. I honestly, not to hate on California, but if I'm in another country and I'm going to try to invade, I'm going through New York or California. Somebody that just doesn't have any guns. They have a bunch of rules against it. You know, the only people that have them are gangsters that couldn't shoot a door 3 feet from it, you know. Yeah, not worried. I would invade through those countries, not the ones where you might just hop off that boat onto the beach and you got 30 people on bath salts. And who knows what they're thinking, and you might even think they're zombies. Can you please remind me what time frames the blue and yellow zones represent? I sure will. I have 100 different things I want to do for this, to almost like little keys you could put on your desk or mouse pads. But yellow is daily or 4 hour, and I say that because if you were to look at this on like the S&P right here, the only difference is one candle. You know, if we switch to the daily, it does look a little different, which is why I say that. But daily will just be the open and close. 4 hour just adds that extra candle, and you'll get the extended hours. But just not enough to really change the picture. I'll switch between those when I need to fine-tune things, because you'll see things kind of like, hey, we're really dancing around this main core level. So I'll take extended hours off, and we'll look at it on the daily. You'll see me fine-tune stuff like that. Purple is going to be the weekly zones, and then blue is going to be hourly. That's why I call them speed bump zones. I expect bounces. I expect choppiness. It's kind of where if something's going to happen, probably going to be there. Like I'm going short at this zone, and I did, and I'll go long at this zone. Don't necessarily think I'm going long or short at any of the blue zones. It's kind of just where I'm paying attention. If I'm already short, I might be looking to add on if we just kind of base out because I'm thinking yellow zone to yellow zone. But then, you know, if I'm thinking, hey, we're already oversold and we're at this blue zone, kind of like we did right here, like boom, we bounced up, and we might play that game again. We might actually just melt down, and that's all we have are just the leftover buyers, right? Second place. Probably mouse pads to be determined. Like Zombie City on Kensington at Philadelphia. I haven't seen that. Yeah, but who wants to invade Florida? That has to be a trolling post. Honestly, guys, I quit fact checking. So if I say something that's just not accurate right now, there's just a lot of noise. And everyone can't wait to share their opinion, do zero anything about it. They just want to complain. Is that not toxic? Can everybody just stop? Like, the amount of people that can't wait to just cry on social media and get a reaction out of somebody else because they're just miserable. Like, just focus on something else. Stop being so pathetic. So that's why I'm not fact-checking. I'll see some random headline and laugh about it. Like, you know, they're going to invade us. North Korea said they'll give Iran nukes if they want it. Like, you know, North Korea couldn't hit South Korea if they tried. Okay, definitely not worried about that. Sounds like Russia and China, I think, are backing out. They don't really want to be in this nonsense. Those would be the ones that probably have the tech that I would be a little nervous about. But if they invade Florida, hopefully they take a day and visit Disneyland. Back into the markets. They're just kind of doing nothing. Long story short, guys, I'm just not buying this whole war thing. Not yet. You know, I don't need sunglasses at night yet. There's no real threat of nukes. For everyone that doesn't know the difference between fission and fusion, you know, you're not going to, like, let's say we do hit. Everyone keeps worried about, is there radiation on the ground? You don't just drop a bomb on a nuclear bomb and set it off. Otherwise, you wouldn't need to make your own nukes. You could just know wherever. We could just put all that resources into just finding out where everyone else stores their nukes and set theirs off. It's not black powder. It's not a firework tint. So don't worry about that. It's all kind of nonsense. It's all sounding, and for anyone that's older than me, haven't we heard this they're making nukes thing before? Does this not sound very repetitive? So I hate to say, if I sound very insensitive, it's just kind of, at first it was new news, and then I kept thinking, I've heard this before. And I'm 30. I'm 37. But how many times has Iran almost had nukes, and we use that as an excuse to go over there? And then there's a drop-off in viewers. This guy. Sorry, I'll entertain your opinions, too. NASDAQ. Probably going back into that range. Until we break this range, this sideways crap, guys, there's probably not much to report on. And I mean, last week, by the way, guys, this does not happen very often. Last week was a red week. I got bent last week. I was a gear off. I was a tooth off on all the gears. And if you're an engine person, you know what that means as far as timing goes. Sucks. I'm going long toward breaking out. It's melting down. Like, here comes the meltdown. I go short. It goes long. So I recovered a lot of my losses. Ultimately, still ended up being a red week. And honestly, I was just like, I went long. This is what recovered most of my losses because I went long at the end of the day. I was like, this is stupid. I'm literally just going to bag hold this till we get to the top of the range. Now, first of all, to explain what happened last week, where are we at? Where did we recover? What are my days here? Right here. Okay. So first of all, I'm long. I tag out. I literally top tick this, as in the high for that day was my fill, and then it drops down. We got to go to a smaller time frame. So right here, I go short, and I hammer this thing, and then we base out. Okay. Now that base out is almost obvious. I'm right here. And then I go long. and then it just goes down. And I'm like, I'm not playing this game because I've already been down. Kind of a dangerous thing to do, to be honest. Now, when I take a loss, it sucks. It's also not my rent. I don't pay rent, but it's not rent money like a gambler. You know, I'm not in a bad spot. But I was like, I'm just holding it because we just started to sink down right here. At the time, I'm physically seeing it's a bright red candle. I'm like, this is absolute. No, I'm holding it, period. And I did add on. We sent it right back up, and then I sold it, and that's ended up why. And later I went into the S&P, ended up buying SPY puts right here. So that did make quite a bit back, but honestly, that range was so annoying, and I was just so maybe confident in the word. You don't want to have a lot of confidence in the market because that's how you set yourself up for failure. But I was just looking at this range, holiday week. I was like, I'm just not. I don't care. I'm holding this. It was through the. I ended up holding it through the off day because futures were open for half a day. Like, this is nonsense. But until we actually break this range, I don't know if I would let this really mess with you. Do I need to move my stops up? I'm gonna scoot my stop up a little bit more on both of these. If you watched from the beginning, I went long the S&P. For everyone that's here now, hit the like button. But I am encouraging everyone. I'm not saying it to sound cocky. I specifically went live before futures open so that I could tell you it's going to gap down into this zone and bounce. So watch before it opens. Watch it gap into that zone. And then the green candle. So it gapped down. I went long. I don't care really what the news is. I'm just encouraging everyone to ES already filled. Oil did not. So I'm going to move my stop up on oil. Anyway, just check that out. Oh no, never mind. Oil did fill. I just didn't get the alert for it. Okay, so I'm already out. Those both tagged. Dang. Sometimes I'm in the mood for a pineapple on my pizza. I like jalapenos and mushrooms, olives, just about everything. What are you... Did I miss something? Where did that conference... There's got to be something in the chat that I missed. I got to get to a smaller time frame because I'm kind of itching to go. Maybe not. I'm going to hang out. Long Bitcoin, 100. Okay, 5 stops 95. Not bad. MP has a 1.8 beta, but bounces around like a 2.0 beta. Man, do I want to go along this? Now, for everyone that's going to talk about a gap fill, it's going to show up later on the S&P. Here's what actually is the gap. It's right here. And if you think there's going to be a gap fill, I don't know why you shouldn't just whole account that thing right now. We filled this gap so fast we created another one. Don ignoring me. Did you even say anything? Oh, here we go. Oh, can you share with us how you were able to predict the March crash a few months ahead of time? Which time? The last one or the last two before that? Just kind of knowing the markets, knowing when they're overbought, knowing the front-running excuse, I guess. To me, it's kind of obvious. I don't mean to say that in a weird way. Just go back to every crash we've had. So, the Rona crash, I called that one out the year prior, and I did say March. The last one we just had, what was the third one? It wasn't 2018. 2022. Just go back to any of my videos. Go back to probably, because I call them out in probably September, around September. But usually by November, December, I'm talking about the crash a little bit more often. And each one's different. I'll show you what I'm seeing in the charts, and you made me a lot of money with that prediction, so thank you. Oh, that's awesome. I do a lot more than just predict crashes. I am 4 for 4 on crashes, though. How do I learn to trade like you? I don't know. Just get good. That, honestly, I hate those answers. But that is why I go live. I don't like editing. Although I'm going to edit some videos because I got all the things now. Look at this. Even when I travel, you guys should see this. These are DJI microphones. Look at these things. How sick is that? Like AirPods. But that's the receiver. These are the transponders. The two little ones. There's two there. I plug in. I can interview people. We're set up. Those are going to take some editing. But I do go live because every day is kind of different. But more importantly, I do make fun of the news a lot because it's just kind of garbage, which I guess kind of sounds like tinfoil hat theory, but I just kind of follow the money. And a lot of times, the Rona is the easiest one to call out because I call it the volleyball spike. Where is the Rona? Okay, so if we were to look right here. The S&P, this is very choppy, dances around. But I say the crash actually started, where did I call that out at? We're on the daily. Let's go to the weekly. We really changed, everything changed attitude-wise about the Rona. Because we started looking for exit liquidity. Kind of grinding our way up, and then we sent it. That's why I say the crash started here, because we just abnormally, and I haven't talked about this in a while, but characteristics. Why I trade the same stuff over and over and over again. Why I'm not on a screen or looking at the biggest losers or the biggest gainers, because I don't care. You know, and I've used this reference a lot in the past. You know, your wife cheats on you. Okay, now your wife cheats on you. Now I'll know you're gonna be upset. But your best friend, he's going to know like what cuss words you're going to use. He's going to know if you're a risk at possibly being a felon here in a little bit. You know, and a lot of people can look at a stock and think, oh, that's good news. It's going to go up. But the one who trades it every day in and out is going to know it so much better. They're going to know how much it's going to go up. They're going to also tell when things are just trading differently. Things are just going to be a little bit weird. The Rona actually caught the literal day of, because there was this gap up. There was a gap up, and that's why I said, hey, this is weird. We don't have any, it was over here. And for everyone that was even in my group that day, I said, this is odd, because usually they're shoving news down your throat, and this gap up was somebody playing the market button. Hey, we need to do this now. So I said, hey, that's weird. If we sell off tomorrow, that's bad news bears. It looks like a big player just got out of the market. And this happens to be the most obvious one because it was just literally down to the day. That happened on a Thursday. Friday, we sold off. It was right here. And then that was the following weeks. But seeing stuff like that in the markets will really give you an edge because things will just be different. So I look at things every night. And also it's why I go live, just to kind of show it off and talk it out loud. But I don't know how. I don't have another answer other than I've just been doing it for 13 years. Oh, 14 almost. Seems like March, April timeframe is a good time to watch for a crash. We're not going to have one next March, though. So we're good. No, not next March. They happen like every 2 years. There's 2018, 2020, 2022. It's not going to happen, though, again. It'll be... It'll be 2028. This will be the longest I've ever predicted in the future. So I'm kind of hoping we don't do anything weird with nukes. But I want to be 5 for 5. And I'm thinking the next one's going to be 2028. No crash this year, then? I guess if we just forget the crash we already had this year. We could say that. But seeing how we already crashed this year... I don't think we could say that, Lisa. I just feel like there's 100 of you guys here that probably weren't here before. But I did draw this line last year. And then, ta-da. Now, a lot of people in my group, I know it sounds like a sales pitch, did make money because I even said, as soon as we hit that line, I'm buying. And I did. And you know what that line looked like at the time? It looked like that. An absolute free-for-all. We had a crash. Thought that was just a correction. Nope. Oh, and just a refresher for everyone else. Pullback up to 9%. Correction 10 to 19%. Crash 20% or more. I hate that. If you're following somebody that says we had a 20% crash, or sorry, a 10% crash, a 5% crash, or just a 20% correction, I kind of feel like you should stop following. If you don't even know the basics, basic terminology stuff, the stuff you do in like the first 6 minutes of your course video, is that nitpicky? Sometimes I feel like it's a little bit nitpicky. Other times I'm like, nah, that's stupid. It's like telling them when a math teacher says 2 plus 2 is 5. Shouldn't you know that? Did you really just kind of slip that out? 2028 crash. What about Bitcoin? What about it? Hey, those look cool. Can you show what those are in description of the mics? Oh, the mics. It's a DJI Mic 2, and they are absolutely phenomenal. I'll pull one out, though. By the way, guys, it's 100% confirmed. Saturday videos, I'm just going to do tech reviews. I have so much stuff I just want to make videos about. Anyway, this has a little clip on it for your shirt. But if you don't have a collar, this is actually a magnet to put on the inside of your shirt, like a little name tag. And they just connect. They just do things. If you have a DJI drone, oh, the opening is just like that. It's magic. What are usually we're live long enough that we can tell what the 24-hour markets do. I'm curious to see what these other guys do. I will put up the expected moves for the week right now. Tesla's probably going to open up. Tesla will be an interesting one because didn't we do the we did the thing this weekend, right? We officially aren't unofficially driving anymore. ES popping. Hey, listen, don't make me buy it again. Do I have to? Ah, dang it. I do want to hold it a little bit longer than that. And they have fuzzy things, which instantly makes it better, I'm sure. Those are windscreens. They do have the fuzzy windscreens. Let's hang on. Do we need to be? Every time I look at ES, I think, why didn't I just buy tech? All right, I'm going long in Q this time, and I'm holding it. I just want to get a little bit more. Not 6 points, 10 points. Look, I made enough to buy a napkin. Dead cats. Dead cats everywhere. Let's go over the expected moves. S&P 606 to 582. We got the NASDAQ coming in hot, 538, 515. I need the S&P. Man, it'd be really sweet if we could just get down here. I don't want a full-blown bounce. So, to catch everybody up, I'm in long 590 puts. Tuesday's expiration. As the S&P sold off, I sold 585s against it, so they're $5 spreads. So, if we do bounce, I'll make a lot of money on the 585s. Because I'll probably close those out and hope for like a red day to maybe ride the 590s back down. We'll see. I like to get paid to be in trades. That one I'm not. But I didn't want to hold a futures contract over the weekend. Grandpa Dow, call 430 to 414. These are what market makers have priced in for the week. Market makers don't get involved until we are outside of this range. If you guys don't know what that is, just let me know in the comments so I can make that video again. And I don't say that sarcastically. It's been a while since we talked about delta hedging and why the market makers aren't out to get you. There's market movers and market makers, and it's pretty important that you do know the difference. Little baby Russell, we call it 203 to 215. We're going to go over the news here in a second. Let's get the big tech names out. Tesla 298 to 346. Meta 660 to 705. I could probably sell 715s on Meta all day. I say that now, and tech's just going to absolutely hammer it this week, and then I lose meta shares. Curious to see what Palantir does this week. It was liking the war news. There was a lot of people saying, like, Iran's about to find out why Palantir, you know, there was a lot of, like, Palantir names that I'm just curious how many people were buying that like it's a war stock. They do have a lot of the government contracts. They are a pretty powerful AI name. So don't get me wrong, I get the, I don't want to call it a stretch. I get the connection. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I do still like Palantir a lot. I'm running through these without even listening off. Microsoft, here we go. 488 to 467. I just think we're going to be in a buy the dip moment. Nvidia 138 to we'll call it 150. Amazon, where everyone in Florida can buy a drone in case Iran invades. I don't mean to laugh, but would that... I don't know if I want to go to Florida with my own rifle or popcorn if Iran invades. Like, do I want to get involved, or do I want to just pick a good vantage point? Bring a recorder, like a camera. Oh, look, he's eating his face. I knew he was... Like, I'll bring a bingo card if Iran were to invade Florida. I don't know why that sounds funny to me. There's a zone in here. There's a line in here somewhere. It's just right on this zone. It's right there. All right, so another weird coincidence. Apple 195 to 207. Man, I'm not bullish Apple, but I'm on an Apple kick right now. Their next earnings is going to be positive, probably just from me. Wait till you guys see it. Oh, it's amazing. Florida doesn't play around. Oh, I know. Like, they openly came out and said you can run over protesters. Now, I don't care about your opinion or on all that, but I'm just saying as a state, they're like, yeah, you can run them over. This is wild. Robotaxi went well and is still going well. I imagine we would know if it's not going well. The fact that I didn't hear anything about Tesla and we're still talking about Iran, you want to forget we bombed Iran? Wait till a Tesla robotaxi hits a curb. Parks too close to a traffic cone, parallel parks, and it's 13 inches away from the curb, hits somebody. It is going to be in banners flown by airplanes. Told you they suck. They can't... Tesla's under so much of a microscope right now. A nuke could go off, but if a Tesla were to hit a stroller or something, or hit somebody on a crosswalk... Like, oh, someone fired a nuke. Yeah, cool, whatever. Did you see what Tesla did? Sure did. Ford, 1025 to 1093. Let's check out Palantir. What's Palantir doing? For everyone that's new here, will you just hop in and let me know? How are you liking it? You could just tell me where you're from. People like to do that, like roll calls. I promise I'm not this cocky. There's a very big difference in cocky and just kind of know what you're doing. It's probably hard to tell the difference with me, but I do know what I'm doing, which is why I sound that way. Intel. What an adorable ticker. Is Intel going to do anything? Look at AMD. AMD got the memo. Oh, AMD. AMD needs to partner with Iran or something. So if you're following my AMD play, I have a lot of AMD. I'm very bullish AMD, but I also in the account everyone's following have a couple of sold calls. Now, I usually go for weekly income. I'm switching that to 90 days. I'm going to sacrifice the weekly income, and I'm just going to start bumping the strikes up a lot. Who does not have bad? He must be new. Marshall says it's just funny. I appreciate that. Who was it last week? Was it Michael? Who says, like, I'm not following you because you're funny? I was like, well, I'll quit making jokes. Appreciate the honesty. Anyway, I'm still very much bullish AMD. If it were to drop down to this yellow zone, I'm going to do both. Buy some more, and I'm I'm going to sell some probably 120 puts if they're juiced up. Because they're outside the expected move for the week, they're probably not going to be juiced up until we are at that level. So if we were to like remotely gap down right here, this week I might even sell some 122s. I don't mind owning more AMD. I do want more AMD, so I'll sell puts to get in that. Intel has been asleep for a long time. I think it's because they quit making chips. Why? I like Intel so much. I was rooting for them so much. I make fun. So you've ever heard me make fun of Android right now? Because I have an Apple I do have a lot of Apple stuff. But I like it because it's easy. If you text me and your texts are green, I assume you're poor. And that's what I say to people. It's just a joke. But that was Intel and AMD a long time ago. I was like, oh, you got an AMD? Are you poor? You just couldn't afford an Intel processor? I was such an Intel, like, fanboy. And then to watch them just... You know how long I was in disbelief that AMD was better than them? Now it's just like... Doesn't even sting anymore. Mara's going to take an absolute beat down tomorrow. Woo! If Mara gets to 10... I would buy some more. I am still a fan of Mara, just because they're data centers. Mara, after they, don't have to sell their Bitcoin anymore to pay their bills. It costs them $46,000 to mine a Bitcoin. They get to keep it. They have their data centers. Overall, I think this is a speculative play, a very risky play, but it's one that I do like longer term. And that's not because it's down. It's a great income play, too. But I very much do like it. I own Intel at 23. It's been a colossal disappointment. Yeah, it's like every time I just pull up an Intel chart, like, it's just sad, you know? You're like that dad. I'm not mad. I'm just upset. Real quick, if everyone were to hit the thumbs up button right now, I'd have enough likes to go live tomorrow. The rules are I get 100 while I'm live. I go live tomorrow before the bell. We've gone over all the major tickers. I told you guys before the futures opened up where they would gap to. If you missed the beginning, just go watch that, and you'll see that price action. People vote with their wallets long before their mouths start talking, and that's what's more important to me. I wonder if we'll turn this range. You know, you've heard before, old support, new resistance. I wonder if that'll be a thing, or if we're just going to get comfortably in this zone. Mara's premium is really good on puts and covered calls. Yeah, if you're not doing that and you're just watching this channel, this guy just likes Mara and just doesn't get the full story that I'm making money on it, you know, every week. Your Mara results are very different than mine. Unflappable fog. That does remind me of that fog the whole United States had. I can get into his thoughts on ABET. I think it doesn't exist. I think it's pretty safe you won't lose any money on that. It's probably a ticker. But can we just tinfoil hat theory that fog that was literally just everywhere? We had a giant cloud the size of the United States, and it was on the ground. Oh, ABET as Ethereum treasury play. We're in a completely different wheelhouse. I don't know. I don't want to just guess or make something up. I like Ethereum. Bitcoin and Ethereum are something I buy every week. If it's a bullish play, I'm on board. But I can confidently answer everything that I trade. If it's something that I don't do, I'm not going to lie and just, I agree. I don't know, man. I'd have to look into it. Applied Digital. Looks very pump and dumpy. Every time it has green, it's just followed by red. I would give it all the wiggle room in the world of 955. Once it breaks that, I'd probably have to just let the selling do their thing. Climate engineering? Man, I don't know. Also, while we're on the topic of climate engineering, we had machines that could make earthquakes, right? I heard that a long time ago. Now, there's earthquakes in we keep hearing 3 cities in Iran. 2 of those 3 have had earthquakes. And people say Iran is testing nukes underground. It's not the government has an earthquake machine. Why did we jump straight to nukes underground? That, my head instantly went to, we made the earthquakes. If the third one pops off, you can't tell me otherwise. Can't tell me. But it is weird. You think there's some weird coincidences? Either way, fun conversation for later. Nothing I would actually put money on. Earthquake machines from fracking. I don't remember any fog in Phoenix, Arizona. It was 100. I remember from Missouri to Florida, there was this fog. It was last year. And it was insane fog. Quit growling. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. But if we get 21 more likes, then I'll be live tomorrow. And I can tell you more about where it's going to be before it happens. It'll be a very weird coincidence all the time. Coincidence if I'm right, man. If I'm wrong, who can actually tell the future? It's a pretty safe thing to be as a YouTuber, right? That's what the other ones do. Anyway, see you guys hopefully tomorrow. Have a good one.